Welcome to the Smart Connector podcast. I hope you're well. As ever, I have a very exciting guest and topic for you today. Welcome, Christoffer Flemström.
Thanks a lot, Jane. Thanks a lot.
So Christoffer has a video production company that's based in Stockholm in Sweden, and he's the founder and visionary of Clara Fardiga Film, which is a production company that challenges the traditional high cost of Hollywood-style filming. So they have a content as a service model that includes brainstorming ideas, filming, and delivering the final production for businesses who want to convey their core values and stand out as more exciting and different than their rivals. So in this interview, we're going to talk about the whole field of film and video production and what it is about Christoffer's business model that is different and unique in this rather crowded marketplace. So it's great to have you here, Christoffer. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah. So before we get into it, one of the things that we were chatting about before we started the interview was the time that I've actually spent in Sweden, because well, without aging myself too much, I actually spent a long time running an account for Saab. The car manufacturer, Swedish car manufacturer. So I spent a long time out in a place called Trollhättan, which is a little village or a town really, that really hardly anybody knows about, but it was an amazing experience in my life. So I spent a lot of time there in Gothenburg as well, and in Stockholm, and sailing around the beautiful west coast. So, Sweden is an incredible country. And I also really loved the people and the commitment to style and design. I mean, obviously, we've heard of IKEA. We know that there are some great brands that come out of Sweden, but Swedish people really do care about design. They care about visuals. They've got a fantastic creative heritage, some fantastic films and TV programs and all sorts of things. There's a real buzz around culture in Sweden, isn't there?
Now I'm blushing.
And well, it's
You
true.
can't tell this to a Swedish guy,
Yes, I know, because they're also, a bit modest and understated, and yes, I do understand that as well. But it's also obviously music is also, if you're in a creative culture, then it's not just art, it's not just writing, but it's also a music, because obviously creativity can be expressed in lots of different ways. So you are the
Yeah.
country that brought us ABBA, let's face it, one of the greatest pop bands of all time.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay. Well, Christoffer, let's get right into it. So what is going on at the moment in the film and video production marketplace?
So I think there's a big change going on right now when these new platforms like TikTok launched. I mean, the time, the patience, and the time for longer formats are decreasing, and short forms are really dominating the market right now
Yeah.
for brands. So I think it's really important for people and for companies to realize that and take advantage of it as well. Try to tell a story not in 5 minutes, but in 5 seconds.
5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like that.
Exactly.
Yes. And
And it's
that is
gone.
yes, and that is very, very hard to do.
Yeah. I think a lot of the time people are trying to shove a 10-minute video into a 2-minute format. Or I mean, I went to film school, so I know all the film students that were trying to write this big epic stories on a short film script, and it's usually for people that are just getting into video or film,
Uh-huh.
is that it's hard to grasp how much facts and info you can put into a video. And 6 seconds or 5 seconds, that is typically Facebook ads or TikToks. I mean, they reach up to 15 seconds. It's it's a hard thing to do, because you need to be really specific in what you're trying to convey.
You do, yes, because simplicity is actually the hardest thing of all, isn't it? We can all say what we need to say in thousands of words or
Yeah,
thousands of images, if we've got all the luxury of time and resource and everything like that. But when we have to simplify and reduce and actually get our message really, really powerful and concise, that is a real art, isn't it?
yeah. And I think the quicker you can catch an audience attention, then you can deserve to engage in longer formats. So
Yeah.
that's because you're not IKEA, you're not Apple, or most people aren't. So you need to create an interest, a credibility, and emotion to your company.
Mhm.
So people are interested in you, because not everybody will want to hear your story or your uh, how you founded the company before they know you, before they know the brand, before they have some kind of attachment to it.
Well, absolutely. And I think obviously that's where a lot of business owners go wrong through no fault of their own, but they are not marketers. And of course, marketing is really founded in psychology, isn't it? It's the
Yeah,
psychology of influence, persuasion, why people buy. We really have to understand that. And when you go out there with essentially a features driven, product driven message, then, no one's gonna be interested in that, are they? You have to entertain, right?
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Especially on these platforms that are so short formats,
Mhm.
formatted like TikTok or Instagram. It's all about that first 2 seconds almost that has to grab attention.
Yeah.
Something has to happen on screen, or somebody has to say something provocative for you to stop and watch the whole.
Yeah, stopping the scroll. I mean, look, I'm not an
Yeah,
expert in video marketing, but I do understand the principles because basically it's just about grabbing attention, isn't it? You have to get people's attention, otherwise they're not gonna listen to your message, are they?
yeah, it's the same as it was back in the day. Well, not well, it's still around. TV commercials. It's all about stopping a person from zapping around through the different TV channels. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, how do you make them to stop? It's the same with scroll. It's easier now, and it's more channels trying to grab your attention.
Yeah, that's right. And I remember, because obviously I come from this background as we were talking about previously. So, film, TV, production, all of that kind of wonderful stuff. Then sometimes, well, it certainly when I was working in that environment, there's a lot of really fancy stuff that you can do in post production and with effects and all of that kind of thing that are just like, wow. And of course, you see this in Hollywood movies, you see it in theater, in the West End, it's the wow factor of like, how did they do that? But the
Yeah,
problem is it can very easily tip over into style without substance, can't it? Do
definitely.
you have something to say about that?
I think it's all. I think as with everything, movies can be beautifully shot. They can have amazing 3D or video effects, and that's fine. But the Alfred Hitchcock movie Vertigo wouldn't
Yeah,
be anything without the story.
yeah,
So story is always king. Story is always key. What
definitely.
are you trying to tell the
Mhm,
audience? What do you want to convey? What's your message? Do you want to pique
mhm.
their interest?
Yeah,
Do you want to say a USP? But I think a video effect or something unexpected is an excellent way to get people to wait, what was that? And like head back and look again and oh, or stop in the scrolling. So you see a lot of trends going on, like the reverse trend was going on Instagram a couple of months ago, where everybody was doing a reverse commercial.
oh yeah,
Um, they shoot it also intentionally that
yeah.
they're going to reverse it. So Calvin Klein, I think, was doing it, and some Swedish brands were doing it as well. So we tried a few of those, and they worked, because you need to tap into the trends sometimes just to, um, I guess, catch people's attention as well. But sometimes you can try, if you find a video effect, I guess, that you like, try it, see if it goes against the trend. Nobody else is doing it. See if it can catch somebody's eye.
Yeah, and really, as you said, it is really about stopping the scroll. It's about attention, isn't it? So in
Yeah,
the first instance, it's about, okay, you know, yes, you've got my attention. I am listening. I am watching. And that is very, very hard to achieve, isn't it? Because everybody is just, so bombarded with images and messages and notifications. The minute you go on social media, you just got 101 competing messages and channels and so on for your attention. So it is genuinely, it's like a war, isn't it? A war for
yeah,
attention.
yeah. I think one way that I like to look at it is, if you're don't try to fake it, try to be authentic to yourself or to the company. And if you really dare to be authentic, I think people will notice that. Maybe they won't notice it on every video that you post that is 6-second video, but if you try to be yourself for once, instead of this, this persona that people take out when they stand in front of a camera. I think if you try to be honest, people are going to notice that.
But it is genuinely difficult because I think a lot of people feel once the camera's on them, they feel as though, you know what, my job is to sell. And
Yeah,
then they go into sales mode,
yeah,
which is generally a more exaggerated and enthusiastic persona than they
yeah,
would be naturally. But at the
yeah.
same time, we obviously can't be monotone and flat and dull and boring. It's quite hard. It's a performance, isn't it?
It
And if
is.
you haven't been trained at drama school and you haven't done a whole load of public speaking, it's genuinely hard for people, isn't it?
Yeah, and even sometimes when you've done a lot of public speaking, it's a whole different story to stand in front of a camera, because you feel judged in a way. You feel judged by the camera. And that's what we're trying to say all the time to the people that we go out and create videos for, is that, let me, the cameraman or camerawoman, let me worry about how you look, how it's said, how it's gonna look, and just think about what you're delivering and how you're delivering it, because it's my job to make you look really good, and that the message is conveyed in a beautiful way, I guess.
Yeah, and I think that is obviously one of the huge benefits of actually working with a production company, with a professional crew and a videographer who is also like a director and is
Yeah,
actually helping you with the performance and saying, "Lift it a little bit here and tone it down a bit there," and all of those kind of things. Because I think what a lot of people struggle with is they don't really have anybody to do that for them. They've just literally got their iPhone or their I mean, we're sitting here with I've got a little thing on top of my computer. So
yeah,
we just have ourselves, don't we? And sometimes we are our own worst enemies, aren't we? In terms of just not
judging.
really appreciating ourselves,
Yeah,
and also sometimes just doing the wrong thing without anybody there to correct us.
yeah, definitely. I think you need the support. I think sometimes people underestimate the benefit of having an external camera person that helps you out with something as simple as, okay, how do I sit? What's my posture? Or to just make them feel comfortable that I'll handle this. You don't have to worry about it. I think it's all about making a person feel comfortable, and then they can perform,
Yeah.
because it's going to show through the camera, otherwise, if they're stressed.
Definitely. So, let's talk about your approach, Christopher. So, you brainstorm ideas, you film and deliver the final production for businesses who want to convey their core values and stand out as more exciting and different. than
Yeah.
their rivals. So do you do the storytelling? I mean, let's just talk about, okay, what actually happens when somebody comes to you typically?
So basically, when they come to us, we talk about what they're looking for, what's their aim with the production, or and then we basically help them out. So we are a subscription service instead of one-time productions, because we don't believe in them. We can still help people with that.
Yeah.
But our motto is, or our slogan is content as a service, because that's how we approach things. We work over time with people because
Yeah.
we believe in the value of the relationship between the client and us. We will get to learn your business. You will get to learn us. You will be comfortable with us. You will have a red thread through all your content that we create for you. So the relationship is like a good wine, it increases by the time spent with us.
Yeah.
So basically, we talk about what the aim for the video or the content that you want to create is. So for example, if your goal is to increase leads for your website, you might come to us and say, well, I want to create a website video. And we might say, okay, but why? Well, I want to increase sales. Well, why don't you do ads then? So instead of having this 4-minute video that nobody's going to see on your website, chop them up to smaller videos that put the USBs really
Yeah.
high up, and call to action at the end of the video, and create those into Facebook ads or LinkedIn ads. And then next month, we'll do a video for the website that we can put on the websites.
Yeah.
And the month after that, we'll see how the ads went,
Yeah.
and we'll learn from that.
Yeah. I really like that, the idea of it being a subscription service, because when you get on the video train, let's just say, I mean, I'm doing video and I'm doing it all the time. I've started doing YouTube stuff, and I'm doing ads, and I'm doing videos for my funnels. And now I'm like, oh, I should be repurposing all of this.
Yeah.
And every time it's a different project. So I think I really like that idea of, look, if you want to get visible through video, and to be honest, it is the most powerful medium there is, really, I think, at the moment, then you aren't going to do it as a twice a year thing, really, are you? You're going to want to be doing it all the time.
Yeah. And I think it's always been looked at before as this one-time production project, or at least
Yeah,
from the production company's perspective.
yeah,
Uh, they've only approached people that can really afford their big production. So IKEA has gotten beautiful shot commercials, and they're still making a lot of beautiful videos that we take inspiration from. But I think in order for at least small and medium businesses, or at least a lot of the companies out there, you need to be seen a lot more than just once a year. It's
true.
impossible to stick out otherwise. You can have a beautiful video, but it's going to be scrolled away in seconds.
Yes, exactly. And really, it is all about it is all about reach, isn't it? So for reach, you have to have variety,
Yeah,
because if people like you and they like what you do, then they're going to want more, and they don't just want to watch the same thing over and over again. I mean, that's just, again, it's just basic psychology, isn't it?
yeah,
They want more of you, and that's a wonderful thing. If they want more of you and they're like, oh, I'm going to follow this person, I like him or her, or whatever they're talking about is, yeah, that's the thing that I'm interested in, then they're just
exactly.
like, I want more and more and more. And that's how it should be, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. So it is a new business model, and that's the thing that I think is really exciting about it. So you're working all over Europe at the moment, aren't you, Christoffer?
yeah, yeah. Basically, so we started working a lot outside of Sweden, and we're trying to basically establish ourselves as the new guy on the block as well. So
Yeah.
we're expanding to the Scandinavian countries and to the UK as well. And I think it's exciting times. I think we might not be the only person or a company that is doing content as a service, but I think we have an approach that is very human. We try to understand what your business model is, what your aim is, and
Yeah.
we want to get to know you. We want to help you the way you want to be seen, basically.
Definitely. And do you find that there is a difference in culture, maybe in terms of how videos are made or received across different countries, or do you find that the same trends are uniformly seen across Europe, let's just say?
I think it comes down to whether or not you're human, you know, because
Okay.
the most viral videos are gonna be the ones that crosses culture, you know.
Yeah.
It's gonna be that lion video that everybody has seen on YouTube that
Animal videos,
hugs,
yeah.
yeah, the trainer that gets hugged by a lion, you know,
Mm.
or that Charlie bit my finger video on YouTube. It's going to be those really relatable videos about kids or about humans or about, you know, love. I think if you can
Mm.
somehow catch a very human topic or a very human video, I think it's going to cross cultures. It's all about having a story that resonates, I think, and
Yeah.
that's easier said than done.
Yeah, well, it is, it is, and I know what you're talking about these viral videos. I mean, myself, all of my friends, my family, we all love dog videos. I think most people do. So, like dogs doing
Yeah,
cute things or cats doing cute any kind of animals doing cute stuff.
yeah,
And that is, of course, everybody loves that type of
yeah.
thing. But when you're a business that's got a business offer, you don't really want to be posting pictures of how cute your cat is, or do you?
I mean, I think we would do it.
Uh-huh.
Us as a company, I think if you ask me, I would just find a really viral dog or cat video and dub it with me and my sales guy pitching
Ah,
Klara Färdiga Film, and
yeah,
then I would get you to see it. So I think it's all about how you also want to portray your company. We
yeah,
have a very relaxed way of looking at ourselves, and we don't care that much that we have humor in our videos, because I guess we are a very humorous or light-hearted company, I would say. And that's the clients that we want to find as well, because I think we would work the best with them. So I think it's all about how you want to portray or how you want your brand to be portrayed. But of course, dog videos can work as well.
yeah. And I think, just to go back to what we were talking about at the beginning, really, it's entertainment. Video has always been about entertainment. And, we all grew up on watching TV and watching films and, really is just been since the advent of social media that we've seen a lot of, let's just say, fairly lackluster or boring video content out there because, pre the internet era, it was really only big businesses and brands and big media companies and so on that could actually do these things and be in that arena. And so, the quality had to be a lot higher because the cost of entry was really high.
Yeah,
And I think when, let's just say, Joe Public started kind of experimenting with video, then we saw a lot of really, really crap video and a lot of people going out there and doing, trudging through the forest on their morning walk and doing a Facebook Live, and they never really said anything. And, they'd be talking for about a minute before you just clicked off because it's like, oh, they haven't even said anything and all of
yeah,
that kind of thing. And now I perceive that it is coming full circle and that the creators who are actually, doing this stuff on social media are professionalizing it to a level that has never been seen before. I was just wondering whether you agree with that.
No, I think definitely. I think it's again it's a shift of having traditional film industry way
Yeah.
back in the early 1900s, or um, how you say it in English, 21st century. I have no idea, but you understand what I mean. So how it changed to the classic Mad Men era, where the ad agencies were the powerhouses. Everything was still shot very like filmic, and now we have this era of, well, everybody has a phone, everybody has a video camera on it, so it's all about sorry, forgetting the word. Well, it's all about user generated content. If it
Yeah.
feels real,
Hmm.
it's authentic. So people, or the younger generation, want to see that, because that's what they're used to seeing all the time. That's the media they've consumed their whole life. They haven't been consuming Ingmar Bergman movies or Alfred Hitchcock movies that is shot perfectly. They've consumed the dog video on YouTube.
Yeah. Exactly, exactly. Yeah. So it's such an interesting topic. So, Christopher, what kind of clients do you tend to work for? I mean, who is your perfect client? You said obviously you like people who are maybe lighthearted, a little bit fun, don't take themselves too seriously. But in terms of, your perfect kind of business type, do you have a sector that you specialize in, or who give us an example of a couple of your clients and what you did for them.
We're pretty broad in the sectors. Actually, we started out with a lot of IoT,
Uh-huh.
IT companies, IoT products,
Mhm.
and we also worked with a lot of Swedish startups like Doctor.se and Mindler, and then we've basically small medium businesses we worked a lot with, but also these bigger companies like Bolt and ABB has worked with us as well, because they've usually had the resources on their own, and they have an in-house house that makes videos as well. But to see that we have a different approach, I think. So they use us for content for social media.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. So some collaborations with bigger businesses and agencies as well. So
Yeah,
it's quite a fluid business model, really.
I think so, and I think the typical client is the one that just sees that has maybe worked with another production company before.
Yeah.
They know that video is very important,
Mm.
or they understand like what it does to your business,
Hmm.
and then they come to us because they see that we have a different approach. We have a subscription service, and they were like, okay, why did we spend last year's marketing budget on this company that we could have just spent on Clara Faria Film, and we could have done a year full of subscription?
Yeah, and I think what I like is the fact that, you are not just basically kind of delivering on a brief, that you will are asking them why, and you're probably advising them from a range of different video marketing options. So that's a strategic role as well, which I think is kind of strategic slash creative. And that's obviously the background that I come from, because it's really different to just hiring a camera crew and saying, right, we're going to this studio, then we need you to film. That
Yeah,
is obviously a part of the puzzle, but it's not everything, because people don't know what they don't know, do they? People
yeah,
need advisors, and they need people to say, you should be doing it this way, or you should be prioritizing this over that.
yeah.
And it becomes a kind of creative partnership, really, doesn't it, when it's done well.
I think that's what people want as well when they come
Yeah,
to experts, or experts. I mean,
definitely.
uh, they want your advice, they want your opinion, and if you don't give it to them, then what's the point of going to you? I
Totally.
think we usually say that we try to be an extension of your marketing team, and if you don't have a marketing team, well, that's us. we've tried to become more of a full product. Like
Yeah.
instead of just a production company, we're trying to offer that we can handle your social media now as well. So
Yeah.
we can post and do copy for your social media accounts as well.
Yeah, amazing, amazing. Because a lot of business owners, they just don't want to do that stuff. They don't want to be marketers. Certainly in my space, people that are, they're sector specialists. They would really rather do what they do well. But the
Yeah,
problem is, they can't usually afford to hire somebody like me, for example. Like a really high level kind of experienced, effectively like a, sort of chief marketing officer or something like that. So, the need for outsourced services that also have a strategic element to them, I think it's huge really at the moment. People really, really need that guidance. Yeah.
people need to learn from the statistics, and I think sometimes you're afraid of even looking at the numbers. What did the last video do? But it's so important to learn from that
Yeah.
and go move forward, because otherwise, why are you posting? You want to move forward and learn from what you've done in the past.
Yeah, most definitely. So talking about mistakes, what are the most classic mistakes that you see when people come to you and they say, "Oh, we've done this and it didn't work for us." What have they done wrong?
So usually I think they are, like we've touched upon a bit before in this talk, is they're confusing top of funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel.
Mm,
And I think that's the classic mistake, is to create a video that is a feature film about yourself and your company that nobody's going to watch.
mm.
Um, and it's about, okay, what are you trying to achieve? Where in the funnel is your client that you're trying to reach out to? Create the video that touches that section.
Yeah, I mean, look, I couldn't agree more. I think that is the a fundamental kind of understanding of misunderstanding of why people buy and how they buy, right? Right. And the thing is, it's not easy to get right. I mean, I've made that mistake in the past. I've created long form content that nobody's watched. Absolutely, for sure. And I put it into a funnel, and I mean, even me, with my background, because really, as I said, this whole thing of like grabbing attention through video it's an art form. It really
Yeah,
is. And people who, again, I'm a great believer that marketing has like maybe 100 specialist disciplines under the umbrella. And I always think you can get the best results through working with specialists,
yeah. I think,
rather than being a generalist.
yeah, definitely. And I think a lot of people try to DIY everything when you're starting up. And of
Yep.
course, we did it ourselves. And sometimes you have to. Sometimes you
Yeah.
have to do it, and you're creating the logo yourself, the brand image, everything. But after a while, you really need to start handling all those things with taking in experts or other companies that can help you out, because it's really going to save you time to focus on your core business.
Absolutely. And I think there is a time when people have to make that switch. And my products and services are kind of, my clients come to me and they're sort of on the cusp. So some of them are still, early stage, and they do want to learn to do the bulk of the work themselves. But very, very quickly, they get to the point where that's just not going to work anymore. And I
Yeah,
think, the expectation that you can do it all yourself, you can wear all the hats, you can be a successful solopreneur that can actually grow a business is, I think that it's a flawed assumption,
yeah,
because you can get so far when you do it all yourself, and it's not very far, to be fair.
yeah,
Your goal, I would say this obviously, but is really to get to the point where you can afford to outsource that stuff that you're not good at, to people who are really good at it, because that is the biggest and the most powerful decision that you can make in terms of your success.
yeah. It's all about saving time and putting your effort where it's needed, or where
Where it
you're most
counts.
talented. Yeah. Uh,
Definitely.
because you can go down the marketing rabbit hole anywhere you want, you know, in CEO. There's millions of things to learn, you
Oh,
know.
yeah.
So you really need to take help from a lot of different consultants or agencies as well, because some people specialize in this, or organic search, or will try to make your website even more search engine optimized, and it's a whole landscape.
Yeah. And I remember obviously from the time that I ran agencies and worked in agencies, there was quite a funny time when it was after we'd sold the business to the US Communications Group into public. I'm always scared to say that word because, you know, you always have to sign all these NDAs and everything, but I won't say anything kind of too controversial. But basically, we were sent all over Europe because we were supposed to be collaborating with these other agencies. And the whole idea was that we would refer business to one another. But because we're all on these really aggressive earnouts, so we had these kind of huge targets, you know, on our heads, nobody actually wanted to refer business to anybody else. We just wanted to keep all of the business for ourselves, even if it wasn't our core strength. And so, you know, I know exactly how that is and how it works in the agency world. It wasn't our fault. It's just we had impossible targets on our head that were very,
Yeah,
very difficult, that were set by, you know, people who didn't really understand our business, and you know how hard it was to really achieve that kind of, you know, massive year on year growth,
yeah,
which kind of made us sort of a little bit desperate, if you know what I mean. But
yeah,
yeah, but, you know, really it is important, I think, to, you know, for a client to know that it is very, very important if you are hiring a marketing supplier to understand what their core strength is
yeah,
and somehow understand what is on the periphery. Because
yeah,
what is on the periphery, you're never gonna get the best if you're
exactly.
going to do the peripheral stuff.
And
Oh,
I think also it's really important when you're hiring agencies or consultancies is that put a goal and make them accountable
mm,
for it, because there's a lot of people out there who, again, the same as with the film industry, like to work with the smoke and mirrors, you know,
yeah,
of
smoke and mirrors.
that people don't understand what they're doing, so they don't understand the results.
Yep.
But put up easy goals that you can come back to them in a month and the next month, and check back on them, because we've worked with a lot of different people and found some people we really like now. But it's all about trust and relationship, I guess.
Definitely. And Mark, we've got Mark Vernon, and he says, "Thank you. This has been insightful. Great to have you here with us, by the way, Mark." So, yeah. No, amazing. I totally agree, Christoffer. And, you know, it's, yeah, I mean, the whole thing is just, it's evolving. Field is rapidly evolving of video production, content production, so on. And that is another reason really to work with specialists because, you know, if you aren't a specialist, and I think this is the issue that I have with all these courses that teach online marketing. I mean, I have a course, I have a program myself, but I teach strategic fundamentals that never change, you know.
Yeah,
So, how to position your service for success, for example. I mean, that's never ever going to change because positioning is a core strategic discipline, whereas the you know, tactical marketing communications, the market has never moved faster. And so with something like the video marketing, what was working a year and a half ago, for example, automated webinars. Personally, I talked to my team about this. It's like, I had an automated webinar a year and a half ago. I wouldn't do it now. One of those ones where you go into a waiting room and then you have to wait for three minutes and they say a countdown. It's a bit like going into the cinema and, you know, the curtain's going to open and all of that.
yeah,
It just doesn't work anymore. It really
yeah,
doesn't. But if you are not a professional in that area, you wouldn't know. You wouldn't understand why. Yeah, I mean, it sounds great, doesn't it? Put your message on
yeah,
autopilot, create some kind of a webinar, put it into this, you know, little kind of box that is a bit like going to the theater and, you know, all of that kind of thing. But it just doesn't work now because people's attention span is so much shorter and they want fast and easy, don't they? And
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
happened, you know, happened very recently.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's ever changing. So you
Ever
have to be on
changing.
top of it.
Absolutely. Well, Christoffer, so if somebody wants to contact you or find out more about your service, what's the best way for them to do that?
So the best way is to go to klarafärdigafilm.com, and that is KLARAFARDIGAFILM.com. So
Okay.
basically, ready, set, film in Swedish.
Okay, fantastic. Well, Christoffer, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you join us tonight and talk about what's working now in content creation and video production and all of that kind of exciting field of media and film. So thank you so much for joining us. And but by the way, what's the weather like in Sweden? It's summer, it's July over here. So how is it over there?
I would say it's beautifully overcast.
Beautifully overcast and very, very long days. That's the thing that I remember about Sweden is I remember those kind of 23-hour long days in the summer and those kind of 2-hour long days in the winter. So anyway, I hope you make the most of the rest of the summer, and it's been an absolute pleasure. Great to have you here.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a
Okay.
lot. You
And
too.
thank you for listening, the people who tuned in. Bye.
Bye.